Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to TechGeek webinar series, our endeavor to impart techies. We believe that sharing of knowledge is the key to enhance our skills and grow us as professionals. With this principle in mind, we have initiated a series of webinars conducted by industry experts to give you all a crisp insight of various domains. The topic of today's session is Convert Draft Schedule to Optimal Schedule that Meets Stakeholder Requirements. It is the sixth session of Microsoft Project 2010 series. This series is being conducted by Mr. B. Sai Prasad, Senior Manager, Learning and Development, Cognizant Technology Solutions India Private Limited. So without further delay, I introduce you all to our guest speaker. Over to you, Mr. Sai.
Thank you. So hello everybody. So I welcome you all for the session 6 of this Project 2010 series. So the topic for today's webinar is how do we convert the draft schedule which we created in the last 5 sessions into an optimal schedule to meet the stakeholders' requirements. So for the benefit of all participants, let's quickly recap the first 5 sessions so that we have a continuity on today's session. On session 1, we talked about the framework of Project 2010 and how the data is organized in the MPP file. In session 2, we talked about the different types of calendars, how do we customize it, how do we set exceptions, and what are the different types of calendars that project uses in order to build a schedule. In session 3, we focused on creating the work breakdown structure, identifying the activities, and setting their dependencies. We also made use of different views like relationship diagram, network diagram, and the Gantt chart to validate the task dependencies. In session 4, we discussed on how to set up different resources in Project 2010, which can be work, material, or cost. We focused on budget resources also, how we can try to validate the bottom-up estimates with our budget. In session 5, we focused on how do we assign these resources in terms of our activities so that the project total cost as well as the duration is calculated based on the resource availability in terms of people, material, and cost. So in today's session, we are going to convert the draft schedule which we created in the last session to meet our customers or stakeholders' requirements. So when we talk about stakeholders, it could be both internal and external. When we say internal, it could be the management, it could be the project manager, or the team members also. If it is external, it could be the sponsor, it could be the upstream and the downstream projects, project managers who have some tight deadlines with respect to your projects. So key takeaways of today's webinar is why is it important to add resource information into a schedule and how it affects the draft schedule, and how do you find the resource information that is recorded and the resources that are assigned to the activities affect the schedule calculation. We will also understand the different scenarios, the root causes why resources get over allocated, and that is one of the key reasons why a draft schedule may not be realistic. We will also look at different views and reports to spot over allocations, followed by we will look at different techniques to do resource optimization or level workloads. We will also look at the new team planner view that has been added in Project 2010 Professional along with the task inspector to resolve the over allocations. Finally, we will conclude this webinar with making use of the leveling features of Project 2010 by which it can delay the conflicting activities based on the slack or task priority. But let's first talk about why is resource information very critical so that it can help you to convert a draft schedule to an optimal schedule. We discussed in the last 5 sessions that when we talk about work resources, right, when we say work resources, it could be people resources. They have a calendar and they have an availability associated with it. But when we talk about material resources like facilities or consumable resources, they are generally unlimited in quantities. So the more you utilize or consume the material, the more the cost is attached. Whereas when we talk about people resources, naturally they have a calendar associated with it. So we talked about how to set up calendars in session 4, where we can have an available from and an available to, and how much percentage are related to the project. So it might happen that you might try to give a resource more work than the available units, and it might also happen that unknowingly you might try to assign this resource outside the available from or the available to date. The second reason why we need to do resource optimization is by default in Project 2010 and even in the earlier versions, the critical path is identified by the dependencies between activities and the duration of your activities. It does not validate whether the resource who's working on parallel tasks or the same resource or different resources. So this could be another reasons why resources get over-allocated. So now let's move on to the topic why resource over-allocation happens. So I'm just going to go back to my project 2010 to help you to understand why this happens. So now we are looking at the project 2010. So I have a few set of resources assigned to the set of activities here. I hope you are able to find towards your right, there are a few activities that are being done parallelly. If you observe, there are two tasks like feasibility and prepare SRS. These two tasks have been assigned to the same resource called offshore BA, and the same resources are assigned to these two parallel activities. So you might find that the project does not give you any alarm by default, or it does not push one of these two parallel activities to the next available date. Okay. So one of the reasons why resources are getting over allocated is because the resource is given more work than the availability, or the resource is given work than is outside its availability, or the resource is working full time on two or more parallel tasks. So when we talk about optimization of your schedule, it all boils down to what we call as workload leveling. So it's a process by which where we find out which resources are overutilized or over allocated, and finding out the best optimal way by which we can convert this draft schedule to a forecastable and a realistic schedule. So let's look at the different options available in Project 2010 through which you can find out where the resources are over allocated and why they are over allocated. So first let's start with the options. So when we talk about options, it could be when a resource gets over allocated, you can look for the first option where you can either add an additional resource, or you can remove a resource, or you can replace one resource with another resource with the same skill set. The second option is you might want to split a long activity into shorter ones. Okay, so a simple example would be there are certain tasks that need not be done in a continuous manner. For example, if I have a testing activity, and if I'm working on a testing activity on week 1 and I'm also working on another designing activity on week 1, it might happen that the designing should be done continuously, whereas the testing activity can be broken down such that I can do one piece in week 1, another piece of week 1 can be pushed to week 3 also. So depending on the nature of the task, you might want to split it. The third is the resource calendar, or their availability by itself can be customized. So you might find that the resource is much cheaper, maybe you can extend its availability, or you can push the resource to work during weekends so that you can ensure that the resource is not overutilized. The third option or the fourth option is if you have two parallel activities, you might want to delay one of these two activities to a later date. So these are the general options which all of us do generally know. Now let's look at the different views available through which we can resolve these resource over-allocation problems. So the first option is a report, which I'm just going to show you. The name of the report is called the Over-Allocated resource report. So this report is a tabular report which you look at, through which you will be able to find out which resources are overallocated and what is the reason why these resources are overallocated. Followed by, we will talk about the Gantt chart view and the resource sheet view that will throw indicators to you why resources are overallocated. The last two views, that is the team planner view and the resource allocation view, is what we are going to spend more time on, because these are the views that will give you the lowest level detail about where, when, on which activity the resource got overallocated, and it will also give you options by which you can resolve these resource overallocation problems. But let's first start with the overallocated reports. So in order to access the report, you might need to go to the project ribbon, okay? And once you have gone to the project ribbon, you just need to click on the reports, and we just navigate and find out where the overallocated resource report is. So I'm just going to go back to my project 2010. Let me first access my project tab, and you will be able to find there are two reports available. One is called the visual reports, another is called as the tabular reports. So let me go for the tabular reports. On the tabular report, just make sure that you open the assignments category. On the assignments category, I hope you can see there are four types of reports available. One is called the do, who does what and when, the to-do list, and the overallocated resources. So I'm just going to open the last report called overallocated resource. Now, I'm just able to see a print preview of which resources are overallocated in my project. So I just did a zoom in. I hope you are able to observe to your right that there are two resources overallocated, architect 1 and an offshore business analyst. Maybe architect 1, though he's working on one activity, maybe due to some other reason he got overallocated. Whereas you can see the offshore resource is assigned to two parallel activities on some dates. So that is the reason why the resource got overallocated. So this is a nice, very simple, direct way through which you can find why resources are overallocated. Now let's move on to the next option available. I'm just going to go back to my task ribbon. So now I'm looking at the Gantt chart view. I hope you can find to my leftmost corner, I'm just circling the Gantt chart view. So on your Gantt chart view, you would be able to find that there are a few tasks that have a red color stickman, right? Remember, this is a new feature that has been added in Project 2010. If you are using the earlier version of project like Project 2003 or Project 2007, you might not find this red color stickman. So what does this stickman indicate? This icon, right, if you do a mouse over on top of this, it says this task has resources assigned which are overallocated, and right click for looking at options. So at least this gives you a visual indicator that you have some problem with your respective schedule. So in order to resolve this problem, I just need to do a right click, and you can see there are three options given to you. So the first option which we'll look at is the ignore problems for this task. It might happen that you might not have enough people in your team, so you do know that the resources are overallocated. Maybe you want to just ignore it. Okay. So when you say ignore, you will find that the red color stickman will disappear from that particular row. Okay. So you might ask, now how do I get it back? So it's quite simple. You just need to select all the rows. Okay. And once you've selected all the rows, just go to the inspect option in the tasks group. Okay. So on the inspect option in the task group, you can find that there is an option called show ignored problems. Okay. I'm just going to select the show ignored problems. Now you'll be able to find that the red color stickman appears again for row number 2. Good. So this is a nice simple way by which you can find which resources are overallocated just looking at the Gantt chart. Now let's look at fixing this problem. Okay, so I'm just going to right click. I'm not going to ignore this problem. Rather, I'm just going to go for the next option called reschedule to the available date. When I say reschedule to the available date, it will try to push the selected activity to the next available date when the resource got overallocated. So you might ask me, okay, so this task, feasibility, I find on my right there are two resources assigned to it, architect 2 and an offshore business analyst. So how do I know which resource got overallocated? So to find out, I just suggest right click and just say fix in task inspector. So when you say fix in task inspector, you will be able to clearly find which resource got overallocated. So here it is the offshore business analyst who is overallocated here. So now you can be very confident that, okay, this guy activity is going to be pushed to a later date. So let me right click the task and I say reschedule to the next available date. I just want everybody to observe which activity is getting pushed in terms of your start and finish. Okay, I'm selecting row 2, red color stickman, I'm saying reschedule to available date. I hope you're able to observe duration of this activity got doubled to 4 days, and you can see the start date has not changed but the finish date has gone updated. So which means that for this particular task, though they have two resources working, right? So one is the architect and another is the offshore BA. The architect still works as per the original plan, which means he starts on the planned date and he finishes on the planned date. Whereas the start date and the finish date of your offshore business analyst got moved. So you might be a bit confused, how do I know that? So I suggest whenever you're trying to reschedule it, I recommend you split the screen into 2 parts. Go to the view ribbon and you can find there's a small checkbox called details. I'll just turn on the details. You can find there is a task form that is being displayed on the bottom. So through the task form, right, you would be able to clearly find which resource start date or the finish date got affected. So I'm just right clicking my task form on the bottom and let me select schedule. Now you would be able to find that the architect is starting on Friday and he completes it on Monday. Whereas the offshore guy, he starts on Tuesday and he completes on Wednesday. So you can see the earliest start date of these two is what the start date of this activity. Here it is, the earliest year between these 2 dates is 6/29, and that's what you see as a start date. If you look at the finish date, the latest or the late finish date between these two is 7/4, and that is what the finish date of this. So you can find out that based on when the offshore resources are available, it pushes this activity to a later date. So this is a very clean, simple approach through which you can try to delay an activity to the next available date. Okay, now let's look at another way. I see that the architect here is overallocated. So now let's look at options. It says that reschedule this activity, but I don't see the rescheduling this activity will work properly. Because as you can see, this is the last activity in your project, so I might not want to push this to a later date. So it clearly says that change the calendar of this particular resource so that this overallocation got resolved. So I'm just going to double click my architect 1 from my task form. You can see the resource information form dialog box opens. You would be able to clearly find that this particular resource has been assigned to the project from June 1st till June 30th. But if you look at my Gantt chart, you can find that this particular activity is scheduled from July 5th to 6th of July. So naturally it falls outside the available date. So another way by which you can find out how this resource got overallocated, I recommend on the bottom you can just change the task form to resource graph. How do I change the form to resource graph? I hope you guys can find on my view ribbon details. You can just bring this drop down, you can find the other views available. You can find the resource graph here. So let me select the resource graph. I hope you are able to find, I've selected row 5 on the top. So you can find the row 5. If you look at it, it is scheduled on Thursday and Friday of July. That is the 5th and 6th. Now, but if you look at Architect 1, is available from the June 1st to June end. So I have given him work outside the available dates. So that's the reason why you can find those two bars are in red color. So if you want to fix this problem, maybe I can just extend the available due date to, let's say, end of July, and let's see what happens. Now you'll be able to find the red color stickman would have disappeared and the red bar becomes the blue colored bar. Okay. So as you can see, there are multiple ways by which you can resolve overallocation, either by delaying an activity or splitting an activity. So let me go back to my presentation. So this is the first option. We talked about looking at reports. The second option is through the Gantt chart, through which you can either ignore the problem or you can reschedule this activity to the next available date. The third option, maybe which I didn't talk about, is quite simple. So I'm just going to undo these changes so that I have the overallocation problems. So if I want to find out which resources are overallocated, because my Gantt chart will not clearly tell you this. So you just change your view to the resource sheet. So go to the resource tab, go to the views group, just change the view from the drop down to resource sheet. You can find there are a few resources who are angry with us. Now naturally you can see they are red in color, and you can see this resource overallocated indicator will appear. That is the yellow color exclamation mark. So when you do a mouse over, it clearly says this resource is overallocated and it needs to be optimized. So this is another view through which you can find which resources are overallocated. Now let's spend the next 20 minutes talking about the team planner and how to do automatic leveling. So as I've already told you, team planner is the new view added in Project 2010 professional version. So if you're using the standard version of Project 2010, actually you will not find this view in your installation. So I'm just going to go back to my team planner. To access team planner, just go back to your resource tab. You can see the team planner view. So once you get the team planner view, you can find that there are 4 sections in this view. So the first section, that is the top leftmost corner, will list the list of resources in your project, and resources who are in overallocated will be in red color. And you can see there is another column called unscheduled task. When I say unscheduled task, we discussed in session 3 when we created the work breakdown structure that in Project 2010, every task can be auto-scheduled or manually scheduled. When you say manually scheduled, it is not necessary that every task should have a start date and a finish date, because it's just a draft schedule. So if you have assigned an activity to a resource where the start date and the finish date is not yet calculated, those activities will be listed in the unscheduled task category. If I have assigned a resource to an activity which has a start date and a finish date, and naturally those activities will be aligned with respect to a time scale. On the bottom rightmost corner, you can find activities that have a start date and a finish date, but no resources assigned will be listed in this area. Whereas activities that are not yet don't have a start date or a finish date, which has not been assigned to any resources, will be listed on the bottom leftmost corner. Now let's find out why this resource got overallocated. So I'm just going to move back to, I hope you guys can find that there are a few activities. I hope it's not few, all the activities are in black color. So you might ask, why is it black? Remember, the team planner, apart from identifying which task have overallocated resource, it will also give you a clear picture about out which activities have completed, which activities are late, which activities are manually scheduled by using different colors with respect to those bars. The reason why you see all these bars are now in black color is because these activities have not yet been completed with respect to today's date. As you can see, these activities had to be completed by July, but none of these activities, as you can see, have been completed. So you can see the percentage complete of all my activities is only 0%. So with respect to the team planner, those activities that have not been completed with respect to today's date will be marked in black color. So if I want to change my today's date to, let's say, June 25th, I'll just go to the project ribbon and I'll just change my status date, which is my today's date, to June 14th. Okay. I hope now you'll be able to find, with respect to my today's date is June, naturally you find these activities have been marked in the blue color. Now you can clearly find out that the offshore business analyst is over-allocated because he is working on 2 parallel activities. So this is a very quick and an easy way by which you can avoid over-allocation. Now you will be able to find that the on-site DA is available on these dates. So you can find that he is available on those 2 dates. So what you can do is you can just select the activity which you want to move to the other resource. So let me select feasibility. I can just move it, I can drop it here. So the moment you drag and drop it, it automatically gets reassigned to another resource. But the only catch is when you try to move an activity from one resource to another resource, project will automatically change the constraint type of the feasibility to start no earlier than. The reason being that Team Planner was more designed for manually scheduled activities. For auto-scheduled activities, it assumes that you are trying to delegate this activity to another resource. So it tries to put constraint for these activities. So if you want to know what these constraints are, I'm just going to go back to my Gantt chart. You can find the feasibility. You can see there is a constraint that has been put that this task has a start no earlier than on that date. To remove this constraint, either by using the Gantt chart or the Team Planner, I suggest you double-click the activity name and go to the Advanced tab and just change it to as soon as possible so that you don't have any constraint or static constraints on that activity. But the only drawback with respect to the Team Planner is it has very limited features. Okay, so you may not be able to split one activity and divide it across and give it across multiple people. So that's not possible through a Team Planner. The second one is you may not be able to split an activity into 2 pieces. So let's say I cannot say I want to split this into 2 pieces, like prepare SRS in 1 week and the remaining part of the prepare SRS should be done in the 4th week of the project. So those types of I can say complex options cannot be directly implemented through the Team Planner. So through the Team Planner, as I've already told you, right, so you can try to drag it and drop it, where you can try to reassign it. You can also reschedule that activity to the next available date, or you can also move it to the next available date. For example, let me undo this change. Let's say if I just want to push this activity to a next available date, you can either push it and drop it here, or you can also select that particular task which you want to move, go to the task ribbon, and you can find that there is a move option available. So you can say move the task forward or backward. So if I say 1 week, it automatically moves this task to the next available date. So remember, when you try to move it, it also moves all the resources who are working on that particular activity. Okay. So these are a few things which you might want to remember when it comes to Team Planner. Let's look at the next option by which you can do automatic leveling in Project 2010. So the last 20 minutes I have been doing optimization in the manual way. When I say manual way, I was finding out which resources are over allocated, okay, and I was also either delaying that activity to the next available date or swapping it with another resource. So all these are manual options. But the option what we are going to show you now is what we call as the automatic leveling features of Project 2010. By Project 2010, based on the priority what you set, it can automatically delay one of the activities based on your convenience. So I'm just going to go back to project and let me open a different plan. Good. So what you are now looking at is a different project plan where I have a set of activities, and you would be able to find that there are a few activities where I have some over allocated resources. So let's find out how we can try to make use of automatic leveling features. So the first option is on your resource tab, you can find there is an option called leveling options. So this is the, I can say, the rules which you define for automatic leveling will be configured in this dialog box. You can find that we are welcomed by 3 sections here called leveling calculations, leveling range, and resolve over allocations. When you say leveling calculations, it has a radio button called manual and automatic. By default, it is manual. When you say manual, whenever there is an overallocation, project will flag that overallocation in different views by a red color indicators. But when you say automatic, the moment a resource gets overallocated, it will make use of the rules what you have defined in the 3rd section, and it will automatically delay one of those conflict tasks. But remember, not every time it can delay. For example, if I have an activity and I have assigned a resource to it, and I have asked the resource to spend more than 100% every day, though the resource is overallocated, project cannot do anything about it because he is working on only one activity. So project will not try to reduce 200% to 100% automatically. So when you say automatic, it will apply only for resources who are working on parallel tasks. When he's working on only one task and he's overallocated, project will give you an error or a warning that I'm not able to resolve overallocation in that scenario. Maybe you need to do an manual leveling in that case. So I'm just going to have manual for learning purpose. The second is you can just try to fix to what degree you want Microsoft Project to find overallocation. So do you want Microsoft Project to look at minute by minute in a plan and find overallocation, or do you want to go to hour or a day or a week or a month? So generally for all of our projects, we will look at a day by day level, because if you look at a minute by minute level, it might look like micromanaging, or you might be looking at plan, or you might be doing resource optimization every minute. So I don't recommend you to go for either a minute by minute or hour by hour. Day by day is a generally accepted practice. Now let's look at the second section. It says the leveling range. When you are having a very detailed scope and you have finalized a plan, naturally you might know when resources are working from the first day till the end of the project, because the scope is defined, you know the methodology, you know how much people are working across different cities or across on-site and offshore. If that is the case, make sure that your leveling range is level the entire project. If your plan is bit dynamic, or you are progressively elaborating your plan, maybe you might have clarity only for the next 3 weeks. So who is going to do what? Maybe for the remaining weeks of your project, you may not have clarity about which resources are working on which activity, and you would have assigned resources just for accountability purposes, but not for responsibility. In those cases, entire project may not give you a desired result. Maybe you can go for the second ready button called level the schedule from a given date to a given date, which means only resources who are over allocated between the from and to dates will be optimized. Now let's go for the entire project here, and now let's look at the rules. The first rule which you need to define is the leveling order, where you need to say if I have two parallel activities in my project which has the same resource, what should be taken as the priority based on which the task needs to be delayed. Here, the leveling order by default, if I select ID only, project will try to use the task IDs. Here, if you look at it, feasibility and prepare SRS are assigned to the same resource. So when I say ID only, project will try to delay the prepare SRS rather than feasibility. So which means the task that has the highest ID number will always be delayed. So let me try out ID only, and I'm just going to turn off the other options, and let's see what happens. I just need to hit the level now option. When I hit the level now option, you can find my feasibility start date and finish date has not changed, but my prepare SRS start and finish and its successor activity automatically got pushed to a later date. So I recommend you go for an ID only option if you have designed your plan such that the most critical activities in your project are positioned at the beginning of the plan, or maybe the less priority activities are designed or put at the later part of your schedule. But not normally everybody will design a plan that way. So mostly ID only is rarely used. Okay. The second option is called standard. When you talk about standard, I think we need to go back to what we mean by critical path. I hope all of us do know what is critical path. It is the longest path in your schedule which cannot be delayed, or the activities on the critical path will have a float of 0. So let me first look at the critical path in this project. Okay, so I'm just going to look at my critical path here. So I'm just going to use my textiles, and I will say I just want to look at my critical activities. I hope you are able to find my prepare SRS, my review, my analysis, my process, and my project completed. These are the set of activities that are critical. Whereas feasibility, as you can see, is not a critical activity because as you can see, the slack of my feasibility is 4 days, whereas for the other activities, the slack is 0. That is the reason it is critical. If you are running a project where you want to delay an activity without affecting the project finish date, here as you know the project finish date is 7/10, naturally your non-critical activity needs to be pushed to a later date, which means that I just go to the leveling options and I just go for a standard option here. So when I say standard, project will look at between those two parallel activities which is having a higher slack. So you can find prepare SRS is having 0, feasibility is having 4 days as a slack. So project will try to delay feasibility rather than prepare SRS. Okay. So let me see what happens. I will do standard and I will do a level up. Oops. Okay. So now you can find my feasibility start date and finish date got pushed, but still I am not happy about it because you can see my project finish date got moved. The reason being that though feasibility is non-critical, but it was not having the enough slack to push this activity, so naturally my project finish date got affected. So how do I resolve this problem without affecting my finish date? So let me go to the leveling options again and let me select standard. Now this is the checkboxes will help. So the first option here says level only within available slack, which means when feasibility activity gets delayed, I just want that activity to be delayed only within this available 4 days, which means you will end up in preparing a schedule that might not look totally unrealistic, but I can say it is less realistic because there are on a few days of your project you might find some over vacation, but not most of the time. Okay, so let me select the first option. I've selected standard. I will do a level all. Oops, I hope you guys can find project says it cannot do over allocation or resolve over allocation for this resource who is offshore business analyst on Thursday. Okay, so let me skip it. Okay, so it gives you the same problem on Friday. Do a skip. So now you are able to find on Thursday and Friday, right? So on Thursday and Friday, you can find the offshore business analyst is working on 2 parallel activities. Earlier he is working on 4 days, maybe now he's overlocated on 2 days. So now you will be able to find, though the overlocation has moved from prepare SRS to the business process analyst, you can find my project finish date has not yet moved. So if you have a requirement that my project finish date should not be moved, I have very less resources in my project, I want to have minimal overlocation, then I recommend go for the standard option, the leveling order, with the first option saying level only within available slack. But when you say level only available slack, you would have observed that this particular activity got pushed to a later date. Okay, it might happen that this particular activity, feasibility, might have been assigned to multiple resources. Okay, so I'm just going to, let's try it. Okay, so I'm just going to reduce the hours. Good. So I hope you can find I have feasibility where I have an offshore guy on the resource I working on it. You can find through the task inspector also, it is only the offshore BA who got overallocated. Okay. So when I try to do the standard option, right? So when I use a standard option and I do a level all, you can find that the resource I is also now working on the new start date and the finish date. So you don't want the resource, both the resources to start date and finish date to be affected. You want only the resource who got overallocated, is start and finish alone to be affected. How do I do that? So I just did an undo and let me go for the leveling options. I'll select standard and I just want to select the second option saying leveling can adjust individual assignments on the task, which means project is going to delay only the assignment of the resource who is overallocated. So in this case, it is only offshore BA. So let me say level all. I hope now you can find through the task form, you can find that for feasibility, Sai is working starting from Friday and he completes on Monday, whereas the business analyst starts on Tuesday and completes on Wednesday. The reason why the split has happened is because on my leveling options, I have clearly told leveling can adjust individual assignments. But if this option was turned off, project would have delayed the task rather than the assignments, which means both the resources would have started on Tuesday rather than the case what you are now looking at. Good? Okay. So as you can see, right, so there are multiple ways by which you can do resource leveling, either by the automatic leveling options or through the manual leveling options. So let me go back to my slides. So the first option what we talked about is through the manual or automatic. So I recommend go for manual because if you go for automatic, you will find for every small overlocation, project will try to delay an activity. So that might not look like the most realistic approach of getting your plan done. Then we talked about leveling range, where you can either say the entire project or between from under to date. The third one is we talked about ID only or standard, where we said ID only uses the task IDs, whereas standard makes use of the slack. The last one is a priority comma standard. I'm just going to show you how that works. Okay, so as you can find, when I try to select my standard here and I do a level all, you can find the task that is having slack gets delayed. But due to some reason, people might say, though feasibility is not a non-critical activity, as per my customer, feasibility should not be delayed. Okay, so which means that though it is not part of my critical path, you don't want the start date and the finish date of that activity to be getting affected because of resource leveling. So what we can do is, for those affected activities, you can just double click the task and on the general tab you have a priority value. Remember, the priority value can be from 1 to 1000. The higher the value, higher the priority. Okay, so I'm just going to say the priority of my feasibility is 1000. The moment you key the key in 1000, you can see there is an instruction that has been displayed below. It says neither leveling nor prevent overlocations to be moved for this because the priority has been set to 1000. What does this mean? When I try to go for leveling options and I select priority comma standard and I do a level all, you will be able to find my prepare SRS is getting delayed rather than my feasibility. Though feasibility was having a higher slack, as you can see my priority is now being used than my slack. Okay, so that is what I think which you need to remember with respect to your automatic leveling. So as you have already talked about, you can try to make use of the options what we configured here to either do leveling for a particular selection or for the complete project. As you can see that the configuration what you have set here will indirectly affect your Gantt chart or your team planner or your resource sheet. So let me give you a demo for that. Let me undo this change and let me say I've selected it is by standard. Okay. Now if I just go to my resource sheet, okay, and you find my offshore resources overallocated, you can just right click, you can just make sure that you select that particular resource and you can go to the resource ribbon and you say level resources. When you say level resources, all the activities that has been assigned to this particular resource that we have overallocation will be automatically delayed by the settings what you have done here. So which means it will use a standard option with these settings to delay that activity. So let me say level resource. So it says offshore BA. Let me say level now. You can see the offshore business analyst problem got resolved. On my Gantt chart, you'll be able to find what impact it got created. Good. So let's take the questions last. So just to summarize, resource conflicts happen as a part of your project plan because project by default does not validate the availability of your people resources. There are several ways by which you can try to optimize resource workloads by adding, removing people, by splitting activities, by changing their calendars or delaying tasks. We made use of the reports, Gantt chart views, resource sheet view, team planner, and the resource allocation. And we also made use of the leveling options dialog through which you can configure how should project find out which task to be delayed and what is the range within which the leveling should happen. Okay. So thank you guys, and I hope this session was informative for you. So if you have any questions, please go to your Q&A and just post it. Thank you. Mohini, are you there? I'm ready for the questions.
Yes, I'm here, Mr. Sai. We're just receiving the questions. I would start assigning you them in a way.
Yeah, thank you. Fine. Okay. So good. So I've started receiving the questions. Fine. So the first question is how to find critical path task in project 2010. Okay. Fine. So if you look at my current plan, okay, so I'm just going to undo this change. Okay. So there are multiple ways by which you can find your critical path. I hope you know the definition of a critical path, which is the activities that have a total float as 0. Okay, total float or total slack of 0. So here you can find that activities that are having total slack of 0 are ideally critical paths. So if you want to find out through the different views in project 2010, One option which I've already demonstrated is critical path can be given shown in a different color in terms of your Gantt chart. So for which, go to the format ribbon and just go to the text files. And items to change, just make sure that you select your critical task. And you can just change your background color. Let's say I just change your background color to red and the color of the text to black. So now you can find my critical activities will be marked in red color. But if you want to have a similar impact on your Gantt chart on your right hand side, on your format ribbon, you can find on your bar styles group there is an option called critical task. Just turn it on, you can find your critical task automatically is marked in red color. Maybe for the non-critical activity, if you want to know how much of slack is available, here you see it as 4 days, but if you want to have some kind of a trailing line indicating that is a slack available for feasibility, on the same format ribbon, just turn on slack. I hope you can find the small black color line is drawn at the end of feasibility, indicating it is the slack available for the task. Change your current view to network diagram. Okay. So if you change it to network diagram, critical activities will be marked in red color. Okay. That's good. I hope that answers your question. Thank you. So the next question is, so resource leveling will have an impact if we change the max units of resources. Yes, exactly. You got it right, Sweta. So when we talk about resource leveling is purely, okay, so when we talk about resource leveling, there are two forms here, okay. I hope that you are talking about resource over-allocation here. So when we talk about resource over-allocation, it is purely decided by the available from and the available to of your particular resources. So on your resource sheet, if I have told that this particular resource, offshore business analyst, can work in this project 200%, which means he can spend more than 16 hours per day, you can find this resource is no more over-allocated. But if I say this resource is allocated to the project only 100%, naturally you can find that the resource is getting over-allocated. So it is purely controlled by the max units or the availability units of that particular resource. Now let's take the next question. What is the best book or website for any Microsoft project? There are many. I would recommend that if you want to a Bible on Project 2010, I would recommend just go for this book called Forecast Scheduling in Project 2010. Okay, this book is available in Amazon.com. But if you're looking for a local publisher, you can just look for the Microsoft Project 2010 step-by-step guide. It is available from the local publishers, so you can get it. How do you do resource leveling in Project 2010 with Project Server? Okay, so I remember the approach is quite similar. Okay, but the only difference is in Project Server you need to fix. It is more governed by the Project Server setup, where you will have the same set of options, so you will not see any big difference between the UI what you're looking at. But the configurations what you need to set or the priority levels will be highly different, because there you're not looking at one project. You will have a chance where the resources can be working on multiple projects also. So those types of settings needs to be configured before you do it. Okay, how do you track or EVM through MTT? Okay. Anurag, I suggest that you just look at the last webinar's video. The same question was answered, so I recommend that your question can be answered through the last webinar's videos. Okay, so thanks for your question, guys. So Mohini, is there any other questions? Okay, fine. So I have another question from Shrikant. Okay, so PERT estimation. The bad part about PERT is PERT was supported in Project 2003 and 2007 also, but in Project 2010 they removed this feature. Okay, So there is no direct way by which you can do any PERT analysis, but I recommend, I can give you a very simple way by which you can do it. Let's say on your Gantt chart, I'll just turn off these colors. Okay. Okay, so as you, for people who are new to PERT, as you know, PERT is a method through which you can try to minimize the risk in terms of your duration estimates. So here, if you look at the duration, what we have are all our single point estimates. So PERT mainly looks at the weighted average of 3 values, which is the optimistic, most likely, and your pessimistic. Okay. So you can just insert 3 columns here. Okay, so let me say duration 1, and let me add another column called duration 2, and the third one is duration 3. Remember, these 3 columns are user defined or custom fields. I'm just going to customize it by giving different names. Let me say this is called the optimistic duration, and this is the pessimistic, and let me say this is the most likely. Okay, and I'm just going to rename the duration 4 to the expected. Okay, so let me insert the expected. Okay, so PERT uses a formula called optimistic plus pessimistic plus 4 into most likely divided by 6, because it uses a normal distribution. That's an assumption that has been made in PERT. So let me say if the optimistic duration, if 90% of the time, if things goes as per your plan, so what is how long will conduct workshop take? Let's say if I say it is 3 days. Okay, and the pessimistic, if let's say there is only 90% chance that that activity will complete on time. So what is the pessimistic duration? Let's say if I give 15 days, and the most likely, right? So on an average, where do I land up? Let's say if I give 8 days. Remember, these numbers, what I've entered, are not generally guess estimate. They have been, we interview people or we look at our similar projects to identify what is the optimistic, pessimistic, and most likely. The expected is ideally a formula which you need to calculate. So I'm just going to customize fields again, where I'm going to say expected is a formula, and the formula I'm going to write here is it is the duration okay, so it is the duration 1 optimistic plus 4 into most likely plus pessimistic divided by 6. Okay, so let me say okay. So as you can see, the 8.33 days is a calculated value. So now you'll be able to find how far your duration is away from it and what is the probability of you completing the particular task on the expected date. I hope this answers your question. Okay, so fine. So are there any other questions? Fine. Okay. Okay, is there any other tool like project that is free? Okay. I'll just do a search and I'll just tell you that. Okay, so I suggest you make use of this software. This is an open source software called OpenProj. Okay, so it is the, sorry, open project. So this is an open source software which is available. Okay, I recommend that you visit the software where you can download it. The look and feel will be quite similar to your project 2003 or 2007. Okay, now let's take the next question. How to do resource leveling if the actual work moves forward to the future date? Yeah, it's quite the same approach. So if the actual work moves forward, I understand that you are talking about recording, right? So there are multiple ways by which you can do it. Okay, let's say that you have a feasibility activity, and let's say this activity is already 50% complete. Okay, when you have a resource who's over-allocated, okay, when you have a resource who's over-allocated, in this case, I assume that business analyst is over-allocated here. Let's see. Yeah, he is over-allocated, and let me change the status date to June. So as you can see, this activity, feasibility, is already 50% complete, okay? So when this activity is already complete, you can just move the remaining piece alone to a later date, okay? So that you don't have any conflict. The second option is you can also make use of the resource leveling options, where you can say leveling can create splits in remaining work, which means it's only the activity that it's only the remaining work that is unspent on the task will be moved to the later date. So let me do a level all. Maybe I have set the priority level to 1000 here. So let me change the priority here to 500. And let me, okay. So let me say leveling can split. Now you would be able to find that that particular task would have been split into two pieces. The reason is actual work has already been completed, and you just want to move the remaining piece, part of the work, to a future date. How do I partially allocate a resource between two resources? Okay, so let's say for BA business process analysis, we want to assign multiple people. Go to the view ribbon, turn on the details. You can find there is an option on the bottom where you can assign multiple resource, where you can even say how much of effort should be spent by this resource on that activity, how much of effort should be spent by the other resource on the same activity. So here, if you look at it, 32 hours is evenly divided as 16 and 16. Maybe here you can just reduce it to, let's say, 8, and here you can just increase it to, let's say, 24. So the total is still 32, but you can just divide the work between multiple people. Okay, good. So I hope I have answered your questions. So thanks for that. So over to Mogini. Thank you. Hello, Mogini, are you there?
Thanks, Mr. Sai, for the insightful presentation. I'm really thankful to you for conducting this session.
Thank you.
I would also like to thank all the participants for their support in making this webinar a success. The recording of the session will be available on techgeek.com by evening. Thank you all. Have a great evening.